Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this video, all of the highlights from day 2 of the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend. Now then, before we get started, I've been asked to say something. All you guys who are currently sat down on the floor over here, you are sitting there of your own choice. These cars will get very loud, so if you do find it uncomfortable at all, please do move back. It's a completely free choice that you've made to sit there. Unfortunately, I've had to say that. Now then, let's start down here, shall we? As you can see, we've got a real variety of cars here with us. And who was here yesterday? Quick show of hands. Anyone here yesterday? A few of you were here yesterday. Good. So you'll recognise the Supra. The Supra won our sound off yesterday. Let's see how you're feeling today. How are you feeling today? Confident?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're feeling confident. Well, you've got some quite big rivalry today. You know, that F2 car, it's actually a Nissan Challenge car, that. 3 litre V6, of course, your straight 6. Right then, if you're ready then, ladies and gents, we're going to start with our first... Oh, hang on a second, I've almost forgot to do something. You wait there a second. Nate, come with me. First thing we're going to do is measure how loud they are. Sorry, Nate, I forgot to introduce you there, didn't I? Right, so first thing we're going to do is measure how loud they are. This is Nate, our willing volunteer, sorry, that's the right word. Our willing volunteer. You've got a decibel-o-meter here, and you are going to stand behind here and measure how loud they are. Now, your Beard survived the shot yesterday. Yeah. I don't think it will today. They're a bit more powerful today. So, Nate, if you'd like to take up the position there, and we're going to hear lovely Supra sing. Take it away. Alright, he's happy. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me for our first one. Alright, now, yesterday, if I remember right, you hit about 124 point something, didn't you? Today, 122. It's a bit quieter than yesterday, a bit warmer today though. Now then, you've made it into the sound off. You're here and you've spent a ferocious amount of money on your car. So, are you ready to give us some noise?
Yeah, the crowd are.
You ready to hear some noise? Right then, let's take it away. Wow, ladies and gents, put your hands together. Okay, so yesterday we got up to like 124. I think we almost nudged 125. You 132, 132, ladies and gents, not bad going. Now then, come on then, driver. So this has got a 3 litre Nissan engine in it. It's effectively the equivalent of an F2 car, this. It's actually a Nissan Challenge car in front, right? Nissan World Series car, this. A lot of people look at it and think it's an F1 car. Of course, it does have that F1 styling. Our driver just needs to get suited and booted up. He's going to jump in there and we're going to hear this sing. Of course, it's got a Nissan block in there. If I get James just to zoom in and have a look at the insides of that car, and also pay attention to our cantilever suspension on the back of there. This is as thoroughbred a race car pretty much as you are going to see here this weekend. Well, you heard us warming up the engine. It was very loud earlier, so we're going to see just how loud this goes. We're going to
build up the oil pressure first.
Right, so you've first got to build up the oil pressure in this, so you're going to have a good listen to this. Let's get it built up, shall we? Nice and warmed up and the oil pressure warmed up. Building up the oil pressure there. We've got the thumbs up, driver's happy. There we go. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. That was an 8,000 RPM red line. Now then. Come here.
I saw it, I saw it.
Come here. What were you? You 132, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. It certainly sounded louder when I was, but according to the decibelometer, you, sir, 131. 131. You're louder than a race car. Right then, coming up next, the deranged pony. We saw you on the track earlier. I don't know what's more. No. Don't go home. I don't know what's more deranged. You or your car. You ready? Yeah, let's hear some noise. Here we go. Lovely. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for the deranged pony. I'll tell you what. 128. You're not far off there. Well done indeed. Now then, coming up next, this is a very rare car indeed. If I'm right in saying there's 20 of these in the world, and this is the only one outside of Japan. Is that right? And in there we have a V6 engine. Of course, we've had a V8, we had a V6 before there, a V8 before there. So now we're going to our first V6. You ready to give us some noise? Let's hear it. Very nice, straight off the rev limiter. Bounty. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me. Tell you what, they're all louder than yesterday. You, sir, hit 126 decibels. Not bad going at all. Now then, I've been wanting to speak to you all morning. You disappeared from me this morning. What have you done to the back of this?
Just a few little bits.
A few little bits? It sounded like a Spitfire going down the track this morning. So this, of course, got that 4-litre engine, also twin turbocharged, which can sometimes go against it, but I reckon your modifications are going to pay dividend here. You ready to take it away? Let's hear you. Lovely. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me. Sounds like the God of Thunder, that. You hit 123. Surprising. I thought it would be louder than that. Anyway, let's move on. Now then, we have seen you in the Sound Off before. Do you want to, shall I tell everyone how much your exhaust is? He's like, no, don't do it. Ladies and gents, the exhaust on this car, you're going to kill me now. The exhaust on this car, £50,000. 50 grand on an exhaust. Let's hear a 6.5 litre V6. Oh, lovely. Ladies and gents, put your hands together. You hit 130 decibels. 130 square on. Well done to you. Right then, we go from V12 down to V6, the Ayrton Senna tribute car. Good to see you. You've had it for 26 years. Let's see what you can do. Take it away. Very good, very good. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me for the NSX. You reached, you ready? 119 decibels. Not bad going, not bad going. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me for all of our cars so far. Now then, we've got two things left to do. The first thing we need to do is find out which one you think sounded best, and to do that we do this by getting you to cheer as loud as possible. Then we get Nate here to stand in the middle of the arena and we measure how loud your cheer is. Whoever gets the loudest cheer wins. After all of that, don't go anywhere, we're going to get them to fire up all together so you can hear them all sing away. But first, let's find out which one you thought sounded best. Well done to you, sir. 132. Well done. You said it was loud. You said it was loud.
What I was going to do.
You haven't won though just yet. We need to find out.
Pick a young lad to rev if you want.
That's fine. We haven't won yet because we need to find out which one you thought sounded best. Now, you won yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you won yesterday, so we're going to find out. If you thought the Supra sounded best, I want you to cheer as loud as possible after 3. You ready? 1, 2. I can't hear them over your car. I can't hear anything over your car. I'll take your keys off you, okay? Right then, so after 3, you ready? If you thought Supra sounded best, cheer for me after 3. 1, 2, 3. Not as loud as yesterday. Now, if you thought the Mustang sounded best, cheer for me now. It's a good job that they cheered loud because I can't hear anything now. Crikey! Oh, blimey, that was loud. 132 decibels, more like 13,000. Oh, right. He had a little kid in there. The kid was like, wah, 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 wah. Right then, if you thought the deranged Mustang sounded best, I'm going to come back to you. If you thought the deranged Mustang sounded best, don't you dare rev it. I'm stood right behind you. No! Go on then, quick rev, quick. All right. So you've had your reminder. If you thought the deranged Mustang sounded best, cheer for me now. Okay. If you thought this NSX sounded best, cheer for me now. Okay. If you thought the Vantage sounded best, cheer for me now. All right. They're getting excited now, aren't they? If you thought the Lamborghini sounded best, remember it's a 50 grand exhaust, cheer for me now. Wow, okay. And if you thought the Ayrton Senna Tribute NSX sounded best, cheer for me now. All right. And finally, of course, if you thought the F2 sounded best, cheer for me now. Wow, I thought you'd all go for that, you know. Right. I reckon here we have a 3-horse race. Can I ask for the Supra driver, our Mustang driver, and also our Lamborghini driver. Can you all come please join me? Come join me. This is it, ladies and gents, the final Supercar Sound Off of 2022. Come over and join me. All 3 of you got very loud cheers. I'm tempted to disqualify you because I can't hear anything now. Right, come on Supra, come on. This is it, ladies and gents. These are your top 3. So, if you think that the Supra sounded best, I want you to cheer for me after 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. If you thought the Mustang sounded best, cheer for me now. All right then. And if you think the Lamborghini sounded best, cheer for me now. It's very close. Where's Nate? Where is he? Nate, come down and join me. It's between you 2 guys, okay? I'm sorry, Supra, you won yesterday, you're not winning today, unfortunately. It's between you 2. You ready?
No.
If you think the Mustang won, cheer for me now. That was 99 decibels. If you think the Lamborghini won, cheer for me now. You're not going to believe this. You were at 99.8 decibels. You were at 99.9. I give you your Sound Off winner. It is the Lamborghini. Well done. 3 years in a row. Well done to you. You were loudest. You got that. But ladies and gentlemen, I give you your Sound Off champion here, and here is your trophy. Let's get a quick close-up of this. There it is. our coveted Sound Off trophy, and of course our prize from Autoglim, who very kindly sponsor the show here today. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Can I please ask you to put your hands together for our Lamborghini?
Thank you all. Thank you.
Now then, drivers, all jump in your cars. Come on. Do you want to hear them all together? Alrighty then. Come on then. Jump in, jump in, jump in. Let's get them fired up and warmed up. I've always wanted to do this. Ladies, gentlemen, start your engines. McCallum's performed very well yesterday. Let's see what McCallum is doing that car.
Yeah, that's why it's down.
Against launch control. Here we go. That missed our stop sign there, which is a bit unfortunate. Next up, we have our Aston in this GT8. Just 150 to build. Such a these. Marking away down the main straight there. With our V12 Lamborghini earlier, now we're going to go for our V10 Lamborghini. 5.2 litres. Waiting for the front to rise up. Quick drops. Right then, that's the display so this. Indeed. Great to see this back with us today. This has got an 8-litre V10. On that vehicle, and he is so motivated, drives it down to Le Mans regularly, and loves to beat on it as well. Fantastic car. So that's our first group of cars. What we're going to do now is batch them all back together at the bottom of the main straight and then bring them back up for you. Now, if you'd like your opportunity, ladies and gents, to be in the passenger seat of one of the cars and down the main straight, make sure you go to the Sporting Bears Dream Prides marquee, which is down by the, you can't miss them, it's a big yellow marquee. If you go down and see those guys, you can buy a raffle ticket to be in with a chance to be in the passenger seat. Now let's get our V12 Lamborghini back up the straight here. Hard on the brakes, the nose on the ground like a Springer Spaniel, sniffing around to the ground. It's found all the time on the brakes now. V12 in the back of that, just inches from the driver, and such a stealthy looking car for Batman to roll. Next, let's have our McCallum join us back up the main straight. This is a long tail coming up the main straight for us now. That V8 twin turbo charged in the back, much in the centre of the car. Of course, this was the car that really took the fight over to Ferrari. Engaging launch. Lovely summer sun here, and hard on the brakes. You can actually hear the front end of that scrapping for grip. Coming on next then, I do believe, looking down there, be our GT8 joining. Should be our GT8 joining us next. Let's see what we've got here. Just listen at this car. Now then, I'm hoping my lapel mic is going to start feeding back again. The end of it is already starting to pick itself up. Just waiting for the all clear here from our marshal before we release this one of a 50 built Aston Martin. And that's it. Real collector's car, the GT8 is 150 of those built. Now we have a V12 Lamborghini starts off. We carry off the V10 Lamborghini here.
He must be 70, 80 metres away from me. So.
Looking down, our next cars has got a real rarity. I do believe we've got a Honda NSX touring car coming up for you next, but first we need to get our Lamborghini back up. Our marshal's just holding us for a second as we appear to have somebody on track, which of course we don't want to introduce a supercar to an object on track. Wouldn't be good for either the supercar or the object, that wouldn't be good. If you did want to be in the chance to be as a passenger in one of the cars coming up the demonstration run, head over to Sporting Bears, ticket, where you can buy a raffle ticket there, and all the money raised is going to the Simon Says Child Bereavement Support Charity, so a very worthwhile cause as well indeed. Hi then, V10, here we are. Real howler, nose on the ground, finding all grip, and stop, absolutely perfect, that's right, get rid of the board, ladies and gentlemen, very well done for those of you in the centre. A couple of bangs there, hard on the brakes, getting all the grip. Fantastic, very well done indeed. Now then, let's go to probably the largest engine that we've got on site with us today, in the front of our Dodge Viper. This is a GTSR rendition. Got about 450 horsepower from an 8-litre V10. Always puts on a good show as well. He's not shy about leaving some rubber behind on our track. Of course, our track does get quite hot during the summer months, so we have said to them, you start damaging or ripping the track and it ends up in your wheel wells, that's your problem. Surprising how much grip they're able to get from the back of that. Absolutely super. Gentlemen, please put your hands together for our first batch and welcome our second batch of cars to our demonstration run. Next up then, we're on a 10. then. So get my mind to it. Here we go. A10, yeah. It's not this, but it has played with it. Want to get good 300 horsepower from it. So let's see what this one could. Quicker than the S that we had here with us yesterday. Of course, very little weight. Now then, this one will put a smile on your. If you've not seen the video from today's show, you'll see that this guy really does like to put on a show. This is number 98 of 98 Ginetta G33s. Let's see what she can do. The Aston Martin DB9, 5.9 litre V12, and this over 500 horsepower. 0 to 60,
Chuck a long XLR, put that on the mic stand up, you know, a bit further towards Tim, please. Try that one.
Getting all on there. Now then, this is a real rarity here for you. This is the only one. Another one of these in the UK anytime soon.
Oh, I can still see him picking it up.
1991 car, JTC touring car, 120 main young. In this as well, 270 horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. And this for 26 years. Let's see what you can do. Off the rev limiter as well, not showing to you. I would like to try and get a speed kit for 172 miles an hour, but that's indeed what our driver did. As you can hear, we are doing our best with mics here. One doesn't seem to want to pick up, the other one feeding back, which is not ideal.
Mine's feeding back.
So then we're going to regroup them back together at the bottom of our main straight. We're starting with our Alpine A10. This is not the S version, just the Alpine A110. 1.8 litre turbocharged engine. Very lightweight though. Weight is the opposite of what you want. So hard on the brakes there. This car fantastic on the road and also fantastic on track. And our driver here has fettled the engine to get even more performance from it. Comes with about 250 horsepower out of the factory. He's fettled it up to 20. Next then, our Ginetta G33. I reckon they just go and try to wear out the flat spots by creating more. Right then, next car up the track then shall be our Aston Martin DB9 with that well, naturally aspirated engine at the front. Was really the first Aston Martin of a new generation of Aston moving cars. The styling of that lasted for a good 15 years. Next up then, this is our one of only 20 built JTC editions. 1991 car, the only one outside Japan. Sounds glorious as well, that V6. Now we've had one, let's have our next V6 coming up, and joining us here, NSX new sports car experimental. This was the car that showed all the other supercar manufacturers that supercars could be reliable and used every day. Hard on the brakes then. NSXs are starting to climb in value, of course. Also by Humble Tunes, now the legend that was Ayrton Senna. Legend, put your hands together for our second batch of our next batch of cars. So then, let's start with our McCallum. This one, a 720S. This one with a 4-litre V8, 720 horsepower in this. Look how much of that car is taken up with the drivetrain, and half of it is actually engine and gearbox. The rest of it, the cockpit and front end. To give us the full experience of the engine, you can see the aero brake kicking up as well. Next up, we have the BMW i8. This is one of the first of a different breed of sports and supercars. Of course, we've still got a engine in there. Looks so close to the original concept, this. To a stop, he could well be red flagged, that driver. Now then, just watch how quickly this car takes off. We had one of these yesterday. The necks of everything. You won't hear anything, but watch how quick it disappears. You ready? Marshall's indeed having a word with the i8. The cars must stop in the centre of the track. They cannot just do a fly run all the way down. You won't hear anything from the Taycan. It's got 680 horsepower from 2 electric motors, one front, one back, and here we go. Absolutely ridiculous. Probably one of the quickest cars we've got here today, 360. Anyone who says electric cars are boring, I you. Have a look at that. Now then, let's go to our 430 Ferrari. This with a 4.3 V8 in the back. Listen to how quickly this car revs up. Doesn't so much as rev, blink, and it hits the rev limiter. Flag drops, away we go. The Supercar Weekend, that glorious Ferrari V8 singing away. Now then, this was the first time we saw it yesterday. The three-wheeler. Do we have any fans of the Morgan three-wheeler? We do indeed. Big fat V-twin at the front of it, 2 litres. That's a litre per cylinder. This car's just fun, isn't it? It just screams fun. I'm putting one of these in my garage as well. Here we go then. Joining us next. 3.9 litre twin turbo V8 in the front of it. Sport mode engage here, the valve coming up. And parts as well. Car that could be used in all different seasons, this with its metal folding roof. Here we go, activating launch control with sport mode engaged. That's what you do. It is a grip and go, that. 550 horsepower of that, and I can hear a turbo whistle coming up the straight for us now. So we've got even more cars to join us in a minute. But first we need to bring our cars back up. I'm interested in of our i8 will on track. that's an interesting noise that you don't hear every day. The howl of a V8 with the whistle of a turbo. That's going to be interesting to see. Now then, let's see our McLaren, the track though first, shall we? V8 in the centre of the car, giving plenty of traction over those rear wheels. Nicely balanced as well. So efficient with its dynamics, the McLaren, a real driver's car indeed. It's the elements of that P1 hypercar all over it as well. Next, I do believe it's our electric Porsche. You won't hear this, and if you blink, you won't see it. Ultra efficient. Just look how quickly this car gathers pace. All of the Porsches manage to find traction, whether it's dry or wet, and this is just ridiculous. Porsches in terms of getting traction, it's just fantastic. Well, Target Turbo, there's not a turbo on there, but it does emphasise the performance of that car. Coming up then, next, joining us, it is our F434 V8 in the centre of the car. Listen to the howl of this. Listen how quickly it gathers. It's a... Nose lovely, clear in the air, pointing to the sky, then sniffing the ground for grip on the way back. Then we go from a V8 to a V-twin, something you're more like in a motorbike. But this is a motorbike, Morgan three-wheeler. Engine right over the front of it as well. Huge displacement this for the engine. Sounds wonderful, looks wonderful, is wonderful. That's all I can say about that. Next up, I do believe we have another Ferrari to join us. Again, this one, sort of that first of the new generation of Ferraris that's turbocharging. Of course, this is in response to new emissions regulations, which are only going to get tighter. Memory serves right, this was the first front-engine turbocharged Ferrari, I believe. With the Ferrari range, what you've always got to have sort of a youngest sibling, and the California was it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our last batch of welcome. Our next batch of cars, starting with this. This is known as the deranged pony. Let's see just how deranged it is, shall we? Put your hands together for me for that. New favourite car, that one right there. Next we have a 360 Ferrari. Again, 3.0 to this car now. Starting to climb in value as well. The 360s now becoming a very collectible car. Because the back end can get quite lively on that booth. Next then we have our Aston Martin, and this is probably one of the pretty cars that Aston have built in a very long time. Of course, gorgeous DBS, looks great at the standstill, looks even better when it's moving. This is one of my all-time favourite cars, bar none. A beautiful car this. 5.2 litre V12 with 2 turbos, being 715 brake horsepower. Absolutely ginormous brakes on there as well, to help with the stop and performance. Let's see how it does on our main straight. Coming up next, we go from Aston Martin to Ferrari. Again, another front-engine Ferrari, many front-engine Ferrari certainly on our demonstration run. Going to take a trip down memory lane in a minute with our Caterham GPE, but first let's see how our Ferrari does. Course drive going to the rear, which is how it should do. Next up, this is a GP. It's got a 2-litre red top engine in it that you would have seen in many Vauxhalls in the 90s. I'm a huge fan of that engine, of course, by Cosworth. This car's so to get from 0 to 60 in just 3.2 seconds. Was, of course, one of the fastest cars in the world back in the 90s. Let's see how it does today. That you get from that Cosworth developed red top engine. Next up, this is a Project 8 complete with a 5-litre supercharged V8, good for 575 horsepower, 3.7 seconds to 60. There was just 300 of these built, set back £150,000. Performance like that. A car like that indeed. Sends up T8 Aston Martin we had go down earlier, that bark. Right then, let's regroup them back at the bottom of our main straight and bring them back up for you again. Coming up in the next batch will be a Lamborghini as well as a few others. Now if you are enjoying the show here today, you can relive all of the highlights on YouTube later tonight. Just search for Our Tim on, or go to youtube.com/OurTim, and the video from today's show will be online tonight, and the video from yesterday's show is already online. So if you want to see what you missed on, Saturday, you can watch that right now, YouTube. But now back to straight, and the first one coming back up is this deranged pony with a Toyota V8 that is turbocharged. Absolutely. Next, going back up the hill for us here. This is our 360 Ferrari now coming back up the hill. These sort of hit their rock bottom prices a few years ago. They're now starting to climb back up, become a collector's item as well. These, of course, the 400. Slightly larger engine at 4.3 litre, the 360 of course making do with 3.6 litres, still a formation. Now next up then we have our Aston Martin DBS. Probably one of the prettiest Aston Martins ever built in my opinion. They got started on this absolutely bang on engine. The proportions, the lines, everything. Looks fantastic standing, looks even better going up. Coming up there next, we should have our front-mounted V8 Ferrari with the roof down, of course, since the weather for it. The flag drops, let's see what she can do. It's always a bit of a funny place to sit, being sort of endpoints, if you like, for our grain. California was seen as that, but it was nothing less of a Ferrari, a very much a Ferrari in every glorious V8 sitting in the front of the car rather than in the centre as you saw with the 360. Next then, coming up, we should have our GPE. This just goes to show what lightness can do. may only have a 2-litre 4-cylinder red top engine in it that you might have found in the likes of an Astra back in the 90s, but with this lightweight setup in this meant that it could do 0 to 60 in just 3.2 seconds. Waiting now for the all clear from our marshals to make sure that we are clear to go and the track is safe. Of course, safety is #1 priority here. As of course giving you a good show, ladies and gents. Hopefully you are all enjoying the show here today. Don't forget that if you want your opportunity to be in a passenger ride, then make sure you head over to Sporting Bears and extra raffle will be drawn at 12:30. GP then with that 2-litre engine in the front. It's very lightweight one, test drive of this. Pointing out the side as well. Right then, our project 8 now. Quite a rare car indeed, this Project 8, and so it should be with that 5-litre supercharged V8, 575 horsepower, 3.7 seconds to 60. And I do know the driver of this car very well indeed. I don't know how he manages to sneak in on all of our supercar runs, but he's not afraid to give it to the beans, that I can tell you. Right, let's see what our Aventador can do. A 6.5-litre V12, 650 on as well. For you. Next up then we have our BMI8. Now this one has been fettled somewhat, so it should be a bit quicker than the last one we saw. Hopefully our driver of this one will still remember to slam the brakes halfway down. With a front-mounted electric motor with about 130 brake horsepower and a rear-mounted 3-cylinder turbo that's putting out around 260, giving around 400 brake horsepower in total. Next then we go to our V12 Aston Martin here. V12, huge displacement as well. Coming up next then we move from Aston Martin, one great British mark, to another. We go to the 720S, warming up that lovely V8 engine. Of course McCallum were a little bit ahead of the times in terms of Ferrari with that turbocharged engine. Of course Ferrari now using turbocharged engines in their lineup, but McCallum were there first. 4-litre V8 twin turbo, 120 horsepower. Final bracing there, the aero brake popping up to give us a little bit more braking performance as well. Now we move down to the 570S. This one 3.8-litre V8, 670 horsepower, still good for 60 in under 3 seconds. Rear wheel spinning up nicely. And now coming up for you next, this car was in the Sound Off a few years ago, and the owner claims that the exhaust on this car costs £15,000. That's just this car, 50 grand. Oh, he's using all of the track here. He wants to get a very good run on this, which is what we like to see. 770 horsepower out to this. 2.8 seconds to 60. He claims 240 miles an hour at the top end. Sound Off a few years ago. Right, ladies and gents, let's group them all back up and bring them back up the main straight for you. We have 2 more demonstration runs coming up for you later on today as well. Our next one is coming up for you at 1 PM, and then our third and final demo run will be at 3 PM. Your help in the main arena at 2 PM today, where we will have our Supercar Sound Off. We're going to find out just how loud the cars are, but for them to win the coveted Supercar Sound Off trophy, they need to get the loudest cheer from you, ladies and gents. So please make sure you join us in the main arena at 2 PM for our Supercar Sound Off. Now then, let's get back to the action and see how win this. Believe it's Aventador coming back up the track first with that lovely V12, such a huge engine in the back of the car. Make sure you have a look at this car when it's back in static display. Take in the glory that is that V12. You'll probably be able to find the firing order if you look closely enough. Hard on the brakes, a little squirrel there coming to a stop as it comes to stop in the centre. Formula that was only invented a few years ago. Believe it or not, the i8, first shown back in 2013, is coming up to 10 years old. This one's been battled to get nearly 400 horsepower from a mix of petrol and electric. That design might be nearly 10 years old, but it doesn't look older than a week today. It still looks sharp, so close to the original concept when it was first shown. Lucky enough to drive a few of those in my time every single time. Absolutely fantastic experience, something very unique. It sounds absolutely glorious as well when that 3-cylinder chimes in. Of course, so effortless as well when it comes to running on the electric motor. Then next we go to a V12 Aston Martin, naturally aspirated. Let's hear it held as it moves away from our crossroads here. Now then, let's move to the first of our 2 McLarens. Of course, both of these have got the V8 engine. I do believe the first one's got slightly larger 4 litre, the second one with 3.8, but I guarantee you won't hear a difference between the sound. Let's see what the first one can do. Interesting in how McLaren adopted it, and then it clinical, perhaps lacking a little bit of soul when compared to the Ferrari today, but of course McLaren addressed that with many tweaks over the years. Of course, now we are seeing some fantastic design from McLaren. Another one coming up now and joining us, but with that slightly smaller capacity engine, still a V8 in there, but of course still good for 0 to 60. Right now, I do believe our final car here is our V12 Lamborghini. This one with a £50,000 exhaust. Yep. Ferrari, the F430 Spider. Around the F430, 4.3 litre V8 and that 490 horsepower, 0-60 in 4 seconds. So just shy of the 200 mile an hour club. Now then, we saw one of these earlier today. Well, if you blinked, you would have missed it. So let's see how our second one does today. Don't blink because this will disappear before you have taken a photo of it. Here we go. Now that one should be even quicker than the one this morning because it is the Taycan Turbo S. Believe it or not, that car has 13,000 Newton meters of torque at the wheels with launch control. Next up then, we have our McCallum joining us here.
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah.
Jumping up as it did with the aero brake of ones earlier today. Launch control engaged for a second time, and away we go then. Let's hear you. Give him a cheer, give him a clap, and he'll go launch control away. Next up we have the Alpine. We had the A110 earlier today. This is the A110S. Joining us now. Launch control there, having a little bit of fun and games trying to get the traction down. Of course, it is dry out there, but it is a little bit dusty. Now then, this is a Ford GT with a 5 litre V8. About 320 horsepower, 5 seconds to 60. I had one of these on the track yesterday. It sounded glorious. I'm sure this one will sound just as good. GT40, of course, stood about 40 inches from the ground when Ford recreated the GT for their 100th anniversary. Slightly larger than the GT40, hence not called the GT40 name, but there we have our gorgeous GT40 with a 5 litre V8 heading down the track. Right, that completes our first batch, so let's group them back together and bring them back up. We've got about 27 cars to get down this track, and I can hear the thunder of the next group already making their way up, but first we need to bring this first batch back up for us. So let's see how we do get the traction back up the hill. As you can see, they're now climbing uphill rather than heading down it. And although the track is dry, it is very dusty out there. We've had a very dry summer, which has made for very dusty conditions, which has plagued a few of our cars this year. Usually we have a little bit of rain before Supercar Weekend, which can make the track a little bit dicey, a little bit oily almost. The Porsches always seem to perform well, finding traction where others don't. But let's see how our F430 does first. 4.3 litre V8 in this. Of course, it was the next generation on from the 360, which we saw earlier today. We had an F430 in the Sound Off yesterday, sounded glorious then, sounds even better. Beautiful car with a beautiful sound in it as well. Now 360 prices were heading down, they're now starting to climb back up. I dare say that 430 prices will do the exact same as well. Of course, that was the Ford runner to the 458, which replaced it. Now this car, with launch control engaged, puts out 13,000 Newton meters of torque at the wheels. 13,000 Newton meters, I dare say, he's probably rippled our track along the way there. Right, next up then, we should have, I do believe it's our McCallum coming up and joining us. That turbocharged V8 sat pretty much bang centre of the car for great weight distribution. Hard on the brakes there. coming to a stop absolutely central. Just a little whistle from the turbo as well, looking glorious, and the lines on the side of it to really emphasise all of the dynamic attributes of that car. Glorious to see. What's coming up next for us here? Looking down the track, as we can see our checkered flag is holding in place. We've got the all clear from the marshals, and the checkered flag drops. Away we go. It is of course our Alpine A110S. This with a 1.8 inline 4. 16.4.2 seconds and a top speed of 170. Not bad considering that car can get for less than 60 grand if you spec it right. Looking down the track then, we have our GT40. That 5-litre V8, of course, there's going to be no electronics in that car to aid the driver. It's all down to driving together. It's getting a little bit squirrely, but glorious here. That huge engine sucking the air and people in. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me for our second batch of cars, and welcome our third batch with the Noble M12. Now, people look at a number plate and think it's a TDR. It's not. It is a Noble. You're about to hear a V6 and 2 turbos sing away down the track. Here we go. Whistle of the turbos there, 460 horsepower. Not bad for an engine. Now then, this is our 410 Sport Grand Prix. The Evora from Lotus, 3.5 litre V6 supercharged 400 brake horsepower. Iconic livery that you would have seen on the John Player's special car schemes. 70s and 80s. Next one then we have Advantage. Now I dare say that this one has been fettled a little bit given the noise it was making waiting for us to get going. 4-litre V8 with 2 turbos. Get ready for the noise. Sort of V8 sending glorious there over 500 horsepower. Next we have our BMW i8. We're not making stop in the centre. Not you though, don't you worry, you're not going to do that. You're going for the centre, right. Here we go, there's no pressure here. You've just said you're going for the centre. Let's see if he can do it. Will he stop dead centre? He broke late, he's on the brakes. Did he do it? Let me hear you if he managed to get it in the centre. 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged with a front electric motor as well, giving around 360 horsepower in that. Next up we have our Camaro, a 6.2 litre V8 in this, around 455 brake horsepower. 4.5 seconds to 60. Let's see how he does. Now for me, supercars and sports cars should all be about the small factor. Certainly delivers. 4.5 seconds, 60, 190 miles an hour you'll be going for. She runs out and puff. Right then, we're going to start readying our next batch of cars. Before that, we need to bring this batch back up the track. Now, if you want your opportunity to be in one of these cars, make sure you head over to the Sporting Bears Dream Rides yellow marquee, where you can buy your raffle ticket for your opportunity to be in the passenger seat for our third and final run here at the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend, which is coming up at 3 p.m. The draw is at around 2:30 p.m, so make sure you get your tickets well before then. It's your last opportunity to be in the passenger seat of one of these cars. The M12 then coming back up the track. Here the turbos, the wastegate opening, dumping back. Lovely to hear that car under full chat. Awesome piece of kit. The Noble seemingly came out of nowhere and stole the hearts and minds of so many people when it performed out on track there. Next, let's get our Lotus back up the track here, and you may recognise the livery on this from the Lotus F1 cars in the 70s and 80s. Here we are, 3.5 litre supercharged V6, 400 horsepower, 3.9 seconds to 60 miles an hour. Next then, we have our thumbs up and the checker flag drops for our next car coming up on the track. It is of course our Aston Martin Vantage. You'll hear it before you see it. 4 litre V8 twin turbo, it's an AMG. Saving glorious as well. Up 500 horsepower. They recently further developed this as a new Aston Martin, and he got them making it sharper and even quicker. We saw that car yesterday, the F1 edition. If you weren't here yesterday, you can see that in the highlights video, which is on YouTube right now. Next then is our BMW i8. Let's see if you can do a second full stop in the centre. So do get dead centre, ladies and gents. I want you to give them a big round of applause and a big cheer. Also enter them on to engage launch control, and maybe you can swap those. Do that in the i8 with its front-mounted electric motor and that 3-cylinder turbocharged unit in the back combined together. So we've around 360 horsepower. Now then, we should have our Camaro next. We've got a treat coming up for you later on as well. We've got a genuine Boston police car coming up to join us in a few minutes. First, our Camaro 6.2. Absolutely brilliant. The nose of that car points to the sky under acceleration and sniffing the ground, looking for traction on the brakes. Right then, next, please put your hands together for our next batch of cars, ladies and gents. Let's welcome them to the track. Give them a round of applause, please. If the last car was labelled, I believe this one is labelled in colour. 4 litre V8 twin turbo. Here, that 503 brake horsepower V8 Sync. I was hoping this car would join us. This is a real legend, and I'm not just saying that. This car could be spec'd with a 6.8 litre supercharged V8 with over 1,000 horsepower. If you could get the traction, you could get from 0 to 60 in 2.3. Going 240 miles an hour before that car runs out of puff. Now then, let's go something slightly larger in size, but an equally impressive engine, 6.2 litre V8 in this, 4.5 seconds to 60. Just goes to show that if you start shaving weight up a car, how much more performance you get. That glorious V8. That was the first UK spec Camaro in the UK. Next up then, we have our Porsche joining us. I believe this is our Panamera GTS. 4.8 litre V8. Very quick indeed, considering you can seat 4 in comfort in that. Supporters going there. This is our Focus RS, a 2.3 litre 4-cylinder engine in the front of it. Of course, the previous generation RS had that 2.5 litre 5-cylinder unit. He really is making use of all of the track in this. Of course, this generation Focus RS came with drift mode. Snatching through the gears and jumping on the brakes to stop. very well indeed, I must say. Right then, let's group them all back together. Now, keep an eye out for the Ultima Evo. Of course, there's not time for me to talk about that car as it's on the run because it's just so quick. This has got the 6.8 litre supercharged V8 in it. The Evo could be spec'd with over 1,000 horsepower, giving a 0 to 60 time of 2.3 seconds. Just think about that for a second. 2.3 seconds. Top end, you'll be going more than 240 miles an hour. Evo said that this was arguably the most underrated car on the planet. The latest incarnation of the Ultima has a bang for buck quotient most supercar makers wouldn't even think possible, and they went and did it. Anyway, let's get our cars back up the main straight. We're starting with our Aston Martin here, the Vantage with that 4 litre twin turbo V8, 503 horsepower. Those turbos just whistle a little bit as they came off. Of course, there's a new boss at Aston Martin now. We recently had that car updated with the F1 edition, which is even sharper than the car it replaced. Now then, this should be our Ultima, I believe. Just watch how quickly this car goes. Ready? The driver of that car is a brave man. I wouldn't even like to be in the passenger seat of that car, let alone in charge of it. Next then is our Camaro. 6.2 litre V8 in this. This was the first UK car in the UK. Hard on the brakes. Of course, engine size very similar to the Ultima that you just saw, but of course you can see the power difference. Making an appearance quite rightly so. Right then, next, let's see who is joining us next up the hill. The checkered flag waves in front of it and it drops, it waves away. Here we go. It is, of course, the Panamera GTS at 4.3 litre V8 in front. Always criticised a little bit for the looks of this car, but I have to say the GTS tightened things up, and with its nose pointing to the air looks glorious indeed. Next up we have our Sporting Bears Focus RS joining us. One of the cars giving passenger rides. If you want your opportunity to have a passenger ride in our third and final demo run of the weekend, make sure you go and see Sporting Bears this afternoon. And of course, the driver there, Phil, is such a sporter. I think if you cut him in half, he would bleed Sporting Bears. Right then, any fans of Lamborghinis out there, let me hear you. Put your hands together for our next batch of cars. So then, this is our Aventador 6.5 litre V12 in the back of it, and we've got the roof off to hear all of it. Through the gears nice and quickly, nigh on 700 horsepower in that, 0 to 60. And next car, you weren't expecting to see the police here this weekend, were you? But this is a Dodge Charger police car, and it is a genuine police car. This is straight from Boston in the US of A, retired from service in 2019. It's got 5.7 litre V8. For track use, but 130. Here we are then, we have our Ford Mustang RTR. We saw this car yesterday, put on a great show for us. This used to be owned by a World Formula Drift champion. 5 litre V8, here we go. Only Mustang RTR in the country, the only one you will see, and it's here. Next then, let's bring a bit of glamour, shall we, with the Maserati Gran Cabrio Sport. 4.7 litre V8. 440 horsepower, a lot of snarl coming from the back end of that. Here we go. Here we go. You're gonna like this. As you can tell, this is not any normal Ford Mustang. You can hear the forced induction whistling away under the bonnet there. Let's see what our forced induction 5 litre go to V8 can do. Sounds like the hounds of hell, that car, heading down. Now then, you don't see these every day. This is the KTM Crossbow 2 litre turbocharged engine with 400 horsepower. Due to the lack of weight, to get from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
You sat in this.
Absolutely fabulous that, heading down the track. Was pretty much built for the track as well, KTM. Lovely howl coming from the exhaust as the turbocharger forces the fuel and air into those cylinders. Now our next batch of cars I can see are starting to line up behind me, but of course we need to bring that last batch back up the hill first. Looking over, I can see that we've got some beautiful Porsches coming to join us in a minute. I believe that we've got the very latest 992 Turbo S joining us. That car costs more than 150 grand, but first let's get our Lamborghini back on track. Snuck up on me there. Just awesome to hear that naturally aspirated V12 singing. They're not going to make naturally aspirated V12s like that. Now our genuine Boston police car all the way from the US, now in the UK. You might not hear the engine, but you'll certainly hear those blues and twos and the siren. Here we go. Part of the Sporting Bears Brigade this, of course, if you want to be a passenger to one of their cars, make sure you head over and see them. What a fantastic piece of kit that is. It genuinely is from the Boston Police Force, retired back in 2019, brought to the UK as part of a film production, now owned by one of the members of Sporting Bears. Next up then we have our RTR Mustang, the only RTR in the UK, 5 litre V8, pushing 500 horsepower in 4.3 seconds to 60. This was owned by one of the World Formula Drift Champions. 155 mile an hour limited top end there. Now we move over to a little bit of glamour here with our Maserati, the Gran Cabrio Sport. 4.7 litre V8 in front of it, putting out 444 horsepower. One of the best GT cars going. Next up then, we have our modified Ford Mustang coming up to join us. I'm just going to be nice and quiet now so you can listen to this. Hard on the brakes for the corner. So much power coming out. I believe the driver said that he pushed that to about 900 brake horsepower. Next up then we have our KTM Crossbow. You don't see these every day. 2 litre turbocharged engine. 400 horsepower but pretty much no weight, which means 0 to 60 is dealt with in just 3 seconds. Listen to that turbo, that sounded absolutely perfect. here. This is the very latest Turbo S992, 3.8 litre, flat six with 2 turbos in there. The start price of this is £115,000. What does that buy you? It buys you one of the best performing cars on the planet with 641 horsepower, 0-60 in 7 seconds. Next up we have our GT3 RS, a 4 litre flat six in this, 513 horsepower, 3.2 seconds to 60. Let's see what our driver can do. And I have to say those matte gold wheels look stunning. We had our flat six portion, our sound off yesterday, very nearly won the sound off, now you can hear this whistling away before it's even got started. This is a twin turbocharged Coyote V8. This one does have over 800 horsepower. In fact, it has over 900 horsepower now. You tune it up even more. A real crowd pleaser. Let's see what it's going to do. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me. We have our Aventador, not just any Aventador, this is an SVJ. This car was brand new just a couple of years ago. Good to see that our driver still got hold of it. 760 horsepower from this, 2.8 seconds to 60. To that car, please, sir. Remember when he had it one day. This is a very special car indeed. This is MSO 001, a bespoke convertible, 4 litre V8 twin turbo, 765 horsepower, 0-60 in just 2.7 seconds. Unfortunately, ladies and gents, our driver there didn't listen to our safety briefing. We do need all of the cars to stop in the centre of our track because they gain so much speed. I do believe that that will be an automatic black flag, so I don't think we'll be seeing that car on the run back up, unfortunately, which is such a shame because it's such a special car. I was a bespoke convertible, that MSO build 001 with a 4 litre V8 twin turbo. You can see just how quick it gathers pace, 2.7 seconds to 60. You're going far too quick for the bend down there. Our safety marshal will be having some serious words with him. Of course, safety is our #1 priority, as is your enjoyment, ladies and gents. So we'll see if that car does come back and join us for the run back up. Now, coming up for you in just half an hour's time is our Supercar Sound Off, which is in the main arena. Make sure you come and join me for that because I need your help choosing the car that sounds best. It's your votes that count, ladies and gents. You get to choose which sounds best with the loudest cheer. So make sure you're in the arena for that. Now then, let's have the very latest Turbo 911 up the main straight here. 2.7 seconds. What I love about the 911s is that they all just look so subtle. They don't give you a hint towards the amount of performance that they give, but more than 200 horsepower is absolutely phenomenal. 200 miles an hour, I should say. Next up then is our GT3 RS. 4 litre flat six in this, hard on the brakes, just slightly going north of the crossroads there, but backing good for you. Making good use of all of the track. Going to really take launch control here for us. And hard on the brakes. I absolutely love the GT3 RS. On the track with one of those howling away, they just sound incredible. But sounding amazing for you right now is going to be our 900 horsepower Ford Mustang. This has been twin turbocharged, so the V8 wasn't enough. see what he's going to do. He's going to do a cheeky burnout for us. The flag's dropped, so he's clear to go. It's up to him what he does now. Engaging line on, here we go. Bouncing off the rev limiter, the rear wheel's spinning away, clambering around. I feel so sorry for the tyres there. What's it going to do here? Are we going to have any rubber left? I don't think so. Zoomed in on those rear wheels, we're expecting good things, no pressure. Of course, don't forget you can rewatch all of this on YouTube later tonight. Tell you what, those tyres are not cheap, nor is building a car like that. Look, there it is, thumbs up. Very well done, very well done. Next up then we have our Aventador SVJ. This car is owned by a true enthusiast, 6.5 litre V12 with 760 horsepower, 2.8 seconds to 60. This car was just 1 day old when he brought it to Supercar Weekend last year. Let's have a look. Straight out of the back. Now we've had a word with our driver and we are going to allow the MSO 001 to come back and join us. He's under strict instructions to stop in the middle of the track this time to make sure you get a good look at this. This is our final car in the second demonstration run, the third demo run coming for you this afternoon. This is a completely bespoke one-off build. There we are, he's made it to the centre this time. And this is chassis number 1. Built by McCallum Special Operations, it's had extreme lightweight in that. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you please put your hands together for all of our cars and drivers of our second demonstration run, your third and final demonstration run will be going up for you at 3 p.m. But first, put your hands together to welcome our first batch of cars. Now that this is a Carrera for GTS, but it is the British Legends Edition. Most successful mark in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and this one was to celebrate its 19 wins at Le Mans. That one 444 horsepower. Now then, we've had a few Lamborghinis, but I do believe this is the first Superleggera we've had on track today, and believe it might be the first one on the weekend. Edizione, 5.2 litre V10, 570 brake horsepower. Now then, this one is something of a new entry because the driver managed to swap one of the cars. He was going to drive, it was another Corvette, it was the C4, but he swapped it for this C7. He's only borrowing this, let's see if he's going to look after it for the owner. Looking down the track, we've got the thumbs up, the flag drops. Oh, the owner of that car's not looking. 6.2 litre V8, around 500 horsepower, 4 seconds to get to 60 in that. Someone said it, yes, the Lamborghini Huracan, and it is indeed a favourite indeed. And this one, the Evoluzione version as well. Let's have a listen to this glorious 5.2 litre V10 sing. A little bit of spin on those rear wheels before hooking up, getting all the grip and pulling away. Nice grip down there as well. Next up. 3.8 litre V8 with 2 turbos. This one has obviously gone through some of the upgrades that McLaren have put on the cars over time. Now to around 616 brake horsepower, down to a top speed of 212 miles an hour. And of course, some of the very latest McLarens joining us here this weekend, and here we have a glorious 720S. This one, we may even see the aero brake pop up as it goes down the track. The brakes are up, pops the aero brake there, just like you would have seen on McLaren. Yes, they are. So that's our first 5 cars. What we're going to do now is bring them all back together down at the bottom of the track there and bring them all back up again for you to enjoy. We need to group them all back together so that we can bring them back up before we release our next batch of cars. Great selection of cars down there that we've seen go from everything from McLaren to Lamborghini. We've got even more coming up for you. We have an Alfa Romeo joining us in the next batch of cars. Looking along, we've got a gorgeous Mustang, I can say, I believe. We've also got a Ferrari and another Lamborghini coming up behind that. But that's in the next batch. First, we need to bring this batch back up. Starting with our 911 Carrera 4 GTS. It's the British Legends edition, this. Built to celebrate Porsche's dominance in the Le Mans series. Porsche hold the title of an unrivaled 19 wins at the French endurance race. This car was only available in 3 colours, the white that you see there, and also red and blue as well. And of course they brought that out as the British Legends edition because of course they have used British drivers in their winning series as well. Right, the flag's up. I can see now it's going to drop in front of our next car. Our Lamborghini is coming back up here to join us. Do you believe that this is the Technico Edizione? 5.2 litre V10 howling away. Let's see what it can do. Waiting to hear that overrun as it comes down through the gears, sounding glorious as well. Now then, the driver of this car should be in a C4 Corvette, but he's actually in a C7 Stingray, borrowed from one of his friends, with a 6.2 litre V8. I hope he's not paying for the tyres on that car. The flag is held up high in front of the nose of the car, waiting for the thumbs up from all of our marshals. We've just got a little hold, as I think we may have somebody on the top of track. So obviously we can't release the car. We don't want to introduce a speeding car to a solid object. That would be a good end to the weekend. So this has got around 500 horsepower, 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds. You'll be going around 190 miles an hour, slightly faster than C4, which of course was a previous generation Corvette. That had around 375 horsepower, the car that he was expected to join us in. But he's actually in the C7 Stingray here, which he's borrowed from one of his friends. He said that to me quite sheepishly this morning. He was like, it's very kindly gave me the keys. So I wouldn't mind taking the keys off you, but I don't think I'd like the pressure of demonstrating it in front of everyone here today. So the flag drops and away we go. Certainly doing a fantastic demonstration, doing both car and owner proud. Big round of applause there, right now. And very well done indeed. What a wonderful, wonderful car that is. Now then, let's move from America to Italy with our Lamborghini. Such a screamer, that V10 howling away. Give it a quick rev now, let's get launch control engaged. Look how just spinning ever so slightly before the engine revs dip to then build back up the revs as the tyres gain the traction to then pull away up the hill, charging through the gears before coming to a rest at Northgate. Now then, we open the track to our McLaren 12C. McLaren, of course, updated this car throughout its lifetime. And come to a stop right in the centre there, that's a Volcano orange car, one of the press cars. The McLaren did with the 12C allow owners of older models to go back to the factory where they would include the latest upgrade so they could get even more power from that V8 twin turbo engine. Next then, coming back up, we have our second McLaren. I do believe this is the 720S, slightly larger at 4 litres. The V8 twin turbo in this was 720 horsepower. Just hearing a little whistle from those turbos there as they come on the overboost. Absolutely wonderful to see that. Heading up the hill and back over to the fields. Ladies and gents, please put your hands together. So thank you to our drivers and welcome our next batch of cars. So then now we have our Alfa Romeo, this V4C. That's 1.8 litre inline-4 turbocharged engine that you would have found in the Giulietta. But it's 22 kilograms lighter in the back of this with 280 horsepower. The carbon motor, 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. The driver of this one has tackled it to get it down to 3.5 at a top speed of 160 miles an hour. If there was ever a polar opposite, it probably is the Mustang. Far bigger and heavier with far more power as well. 5 litre Coyote V8 in the front of it was a firm favourite in Sound Off. Let's see how it's going to do on track. Now then, ladies and gents, if you show this driver some support, he may well engage line lock. He tried yesterday before the car cut in and wouldn't let it carry on doing it. Let's see if he can get a burnout today. Lovely little burnout there from the Mustang. At the top of the hill here, you can see a lovely Bentley Continental R. This has got the 6 3/4 litre engine in it, keep it being revved up here. Very much a luxurious ride if there ever was one. But let's see what the old girl can do here. She sits down on the rear, lifting up her nose, proudly and heading down the straight, hard on the brakes. Quite a lot of weight there to slow down. Now then, this is something very special indeed. This is indeed the Ferrari 488 Pista. Now, if you joined us previously, you would have seen things like the 360 Challenge Stradale, the 16M. This is very much the latest in the Track Ready Special Series. 3.9 turbo, powering away with 720 horsepower. That car north of £250,000. We had a Mercedes here with us yesterday. This time it is an AMG, which is the AMG GTR with that 4 litre V8 twin turbo, very much shared with what you would have seen in the Vantage. 185 horsepower, 12.6 seconds to 60. Next up we have our F430, because of course it is 4.3 litre V8 in the back of it. These cars love to sing, they build up the revs so quickly. Valves open. There she is, sitting right down the track. revs on that car, building up oh so quickly. It's almost as if there's nothing holding it back at all. It just snaps around the rev counter in the blink of an eye. Wonderful to see that. Right, let's regroup them and bring them back up. We've got even more cars coming up for you in this demonstration run. I'm just having a look down. I do believe we have got one of my all-time favourite cars coming up to join us. If I'm right, it is an Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. Absolutely gorgeous car. This looks fantastic, stood still, even better when it is moving. Got a few more cars coming as well for you, ladies and gents, so don't be going anywhere just yet. But looking down at the bottom track, I can see the first of our cars is now ready to come back and join us, and I do believe it is our Alfa Romeo 4C. That 1.8 litre inline 4 may only produce 280 horsepower, but it's so lightweight, this car, just 895 kilograms. It shows you what you can do with less weight. Also had a full carbon fibre tub, this car, just like a full-on supercar. Very quick and agile indeed. Huge smiles on the faces from both driver and passenger there, quite rightly so. Now this is quite literally double the car coming up behind here. That 5 litre Coated V8 in the front of our Mustang, 8 cylinders again to 4 that just left in the Alfa Romeo. Here it comes up the track. Now then, we're in the centre, which we call the crossroads, but I so we'll do look to light up the rear tyres. Our driver had a go doing it yesterday, but the carpeted putting an end to our fun, unfortunately. But never mind, a good run there from our Toyota V8. Next up, we have, I do believe it's our Continental R coming up. So, 6 3/4 litre engine in this. Hard on the brakes, scrabbling to stop there. It's quite a lot of bump to it, this car. In the air, round. Tell you what, these cars don't are put on a great show for us, but if there was one I wanted to drive back in today for ultimate comfort, it would be that. But for any other day of the week, I would take 488 piston, 3.9 litre V8 with 2 turbos. This is the latest in the Track Ready Special Series, which of course comprises Speciale, which we had with us yesterday. That car, £250,000 now, going for even more now, because they are very sought after. Now, we had a Mercedes here with us yesterday. It was indeed an AMG, but it wasn't anything like this. This is the AMG GTR with a 4 litre V8 twin turbo in the front, putting out 585 brake horsepower. Very well done indeed. Just 2 miles an hour shy of the 200 mile an hour barrier, that car, flat out. And next up we have our F430 coming up to join us, 4.3 litre V8 in the back of this, just loves to howl and sing. Picks up the revs so quickly. Big waves and a big cheer for everyone down there. To the air and then ducking down, finding all of the grip. Fantastic to see. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the last batch of cars and also our next batch of cars. Let's welcome to the track the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. I'm always lost for words when I see one of these. I think they are achingly beautiful.
I'll try to keep the same seats now.
If I had all the money in the world, one of those would certainly be in my garage, and I would put it there with a seat in front of it, just sit and stare at it. It's just gorgeous, something. Next up, we go to Maserati.
So if I win by you and you truck.
4.7 litre V8 in the front of this, good for 444 horsepower. Around 5 seconds, 697 miles an hour. I'm not sure I want to down, mind. But speaking of having the roof down, how about having the roof down, the sides off, and no windscreen? Look at this. This is the Aerial Atom, ladies and gents, 2 litre Honda engine.
Okay.
He's certainly ready to go. Snatching second gear, the rear wheel still being lit up there. 245 horsepower, but with no weight, it'll go on from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Now, the only time I have ever seen one of these is indeed at the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend. It is, of course, the Weissman, a 4.8 litre V8 derived from BMW, 380 horsepower this. Looks something that I'd expect to see at Hot Rod Weekend here at Beaulieu. That was a gorgeous car indeed. Next up then, we move back to England for our McCallum. Again, you've got that V8 pretty much in the centre of it. If you look at the dimensions of the car, the way it's split, you can see so much of it is taken up with that tail tram with that V8 engine in the back. Hard on that accelerator, finding all of the traction. Let's see what it does now down at our centre. Just slightly allowing the tyres to get the grip and then power away. And the rear end of it looks indeed more like the McLaren P1 hypercar. Of course, McLaren took a lot of design cues from that following its success. There we are then, that's our next batch. We're now going to regroup them down at the bottom of the hill before we bring them back up. And then once they're all back up, we'll unleash yet another batch of cars down the main straight. I think we've got something in the region of 25 cars in this demonstration run. So our next batch coming up to join us. But first we need to bring these cars back up. Now, if you are enjoying the weekend, don't forget that you can watch the videos from both Saturday and Sunday here at the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend on YouTube tonight. Saturday's show is already live for you to watch. Just search for our Tim, that's O-U-R-T-I-M. Here we are then, Aston Martin DBS. .2 litre V12 now with 2 turbos as well. Horsepower in that, and just loses me for words every time I see it. They say, do you believe in love at first sight? I do now, and it's that car right there. Right, next up, I do believe it's our Maserati.
Yeah, just as well, really.
Grand Cabrio, certainly got the weather for it here. Roof down with more. Sounding wonderful, coming up the hill as well. Every bit a luxury car, and every bit not a luxury car is the Aerial Atom. There's no wastage here. 2 litre inline 4 Honda engine, 245 horsepower, 3 seconds to 60. We've got the thumbs up and the flag is down. So listen to the bark of the engine as it sucks in the air. Just listen to it go now. And that is, of course, part of the Sporting Bears series. Those guys doing every little bit that they can for their charity, which this weekend is Simon Says, Charles Breeden Sport Charity. A big thank you to those guys for all their help. Next up is our Weissman. 4.8 litre BMW derived V8 in this, 380 brake horsepower. They're cheering you on. Nothing quite like that in terms of the slots. Such a compact package, but they've managed to get so many design cues and styling cues in there, and it just looks absolutely right. As does this, the next McLaren coming to join us. That V8 is sat right in the heart of the car for more or less perfect weight distribution. And you can see how that pays dividend with the fact it's not losing traction at all, just like the Porsches earlier. Very much is a grip and go car. That wonderful scene, gorgeous colour as well, that beautiful purple shining in our lovely summer sun. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for that batch of cars and welcome our next batch of cars. and we are starting with this, the Nissan GT-R. This one's been tuned up to around 700 horsepower, does 0 to 60 and claimed 2.5 seconds. Behaves like it's in the PlayStation game, which it was very much inspired by. Of course, that one didn't actually hold Skyline in its name, it was just called GTR. It was the first, of course, to have that V6 engine as well. Now then, we move to our Coyote engine V8, and already here's the thunder rumbling with this. Around 500 horsepower, good for 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Coming up next then, you've seen some NSXs this weekend, but I guarantee you haven't seen. Fantastic, burn out those tyres, but not cheap at all. Fortunately for our NSX driver here, he's now got to attend to quite a lot of rubber sat in the centre of our track. So we've got two NSXs joining us now. The first is very much the latest generation. All sorts of trickery going on under the skin with that car to get as much traction as possible and the maximum amount of performance out of it. Now we can see very much this car's, should we say father or grandfather? No, we'll say father. We'll say father. V6 in the middle of this, we saw one of these, in fact we saw two of these in the Sound Off earlier. Very popular they were too. Let's see what it sounds like on track. The NSX stood for New Sports Car Experimental, actually inspired Gordon just as well. Now then, let's move on to this gorgeous McCallum. A Spider as well, with the roof down, of course, as so it should be. It's the summer, and we've actually got some sun this year. So we've got the roof down so we can hear that V8 sing, sat right behind the driver's head. The number plate on that as well. Yell UFO. And next up, we have our Maserati MC Ferrari here. 4.7 litre V8 as you saw in the Grand Cabrio, but now pushing out 454 horsepower. For 188 miles an hour. House there, down at Palace House, you can see a fantastic display of Aston Martins. We're celebrating Aston Martin this year, of course. We've also got our new Bond exhibition inside the museum, so make sure you check that out. We've recently refreshed the world of Top Gear as well, so make sure you check that out. And there's a brand new exhibition, the story of motoring in 50 objects. Of course, Beaulieu celebrated its 50th anniversary, and we had a very special show to celebrate that, where we had cars from 1972 joining us. It was absolutely amazing, ladies and gents. The entire grounds were full of cars from 50 years ago. It was like taking a step back in time, and of course there is a full video of that on YouTube that you can watch and enjoy, so please do have a look at that. You'll find it on the YouTube channel, Our Tim. Now back to the action. The flag drops and away we go. So the GTR then, I upgraded this over time, got the 0 to 60 down a lovely dump of the turbo there, sounding absolutely wonderful. A huge smile from the passenger as well, quite rightly so. GTR is just so agile and so efficient with its performance. Of course, had a very big shoe to fill as well, following on from the R34 Skyline. Next up, we have our Mustang now. Let's see if we're going to get another burnout on the way back up. He might not have any cred left though. Let's see what he's going to do. I think he's looking for line lock. I dare say we're going to get a cheeky burnout here. We've zoomed in on the rear wheels, ready. Let's see what we're going to do. Absolutely superb, ladies and gents. Please put your hands together. Give our driver a big cheer. Those tyres are not cheap. Fantastic. I dare say we're popping into quickly on the way home. Right then, next coming up. Let's have a look down there. It should be the first of our two NSXs. Of course, NSX, new sports car experimental. Honda went out back in the 90s to show that supercars could indeed be reliable, something that you could use every single day. And they achieved that with the NSX, and it's certainly becoming quite a coveted car now. Had a few of these down as simply Japanese as well, so if you've not attended that show and you like your Japanese cars, you can get a taste for that on the channel. Full video from that show. We had over 1,500 Japanese cars with us here, and the quality of the cars this year was absolutely outstanding. Make sure you check that out, especially if you enjoyed hearing that Supra rev up earlier as well. But now back to the action with the NSX. All sorts of wizardry going on under the skin there. Hard on the brakes, coming to a stop, and away we go. Very nicely done as well. So agile and slick that. Lovely to see. Next up then we have our NSX, one of the originals here, that V6 sat right in the centre of it. Gordon Murray drove one of these, used it as the benchmark for his car, McCallum. Hard on the brakes and coming to a stop in the centre there. Right there, let's see what coming on the brakes and downshifting. Wonderful to see that. And next up we should indeed have our McLaren Spider, that V8 sat right in the centre of it, just as we saw with the NSX right in the middle of it. A lot of supercars do like to sit their engines in the middle for perfect weight distribution. And hard on the brakes, that nose ducking down, sniffing the ground. Oh, we've got the doors open. What are we doing here then? Are we having a little ride of our doors down? And great number plates as well. Yell UFO, I do like that indeed. Next up we should have Maserati going to join us. Let's see if we can have a nice clean run back up the straight. 4.7 litre V8, 454 horsepower in this, slightly more than the Grand Cabrio we saw before. Good for a sub 5 second 60 time. Absolutely superb.
Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, underneath this video you'll find a thumbs up, and right next to it you'll find a subscribe button. Hit that, you'll get a new video from me every week. If you have enjoyed this video, then make sure you check out the rest of my channel. You'll find all of the highlights from the Saturday Supercar show, and also all of the highlights from previous years as well. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon.